become conscious of the net result. This is how you beat any addiction that you have, any negative habit, anything that's dragging you down in life, but you can't stop doing. Let's talk about this. This is the root solution to all of your addictions. It's just becoming conscious of what is actually going on. This is how I personally got rid of some of my worst addictions. And even today, I've noticed that there is still work for me to do just with this idea right here. I've noticed that the way you really train yourself to naturally not want to do or to partake in an addiction is to train your mind in this manner, such that you see that let's say eating that cake, for example, rather than eating like donuts, rather than eating, the healthy snack or whatever, you can actually vision in your mind the whole experience that you're about to put yourself through. That's the kicker with all these addictions, is that all these addictions are giving you a dopamine hit right now, in the now. It's giving you satisfaction in the now. It's quick, it's easy. But then, after, you're left hungover. You're left feeling like shit. You're left with regret. You're left feeling that you've wasted your time. You're left with your dopamine receptors being fried. You're left feeling like shit because you can't enjoy anything else because you used all of your dopamine. Think about that last time you did a meme binge session, or a binging TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever the fuck. And notice after, multi-hour long session of that, just how unmotivated you were to do anything else productive. And I notice now, even just checking notifications, it does this for me, where that will actually massively take away from my day, because that was a bunch of unearned dopamine hits. It was also a bunch of context switches for my brain to focus on. And then as a result, I come out of that session with less decision-making ability. What you have to do, let's say if you want to quit porn, if you want to quit masturbation, what you have to do, hopefully that's not cutting out, it's very windy here. What you have to do is you have to, see the experience of before, during, and after. And most importantly, after. After you finish, how good do you feel about yourself? After you finish, how motivated are you to do something good for yourself? Something productive? How much does that session take away from the experience or your ability to enjoy other less stimulating, less punchy activities? And it is really in noticing this that will allow you to really make the wiser decision. And this is where you're going to use your upper motor functioning your rational thought to make these decisions such that you can take care of yourself, because your animalistic brain doesn't know better. It only lives in the now, and likely so, because only the now exists. The past doesn't exist. It never happened. And the future doesn't exist either. What only exists to the brain is what's happening in front of you right now. And when you have an option, let's say to read a book or jerk off to some porn, your brain sees not very exciting thing and exciting thing. And so it's going to choose the exciting thing every fucking time. But with enough experience of paying attention to the shitty portion of it. Here's the thing that people fuck up on, is that they don't pay attention to what it feels like after you relapsed, or what it feels like when you're hungover. Like, we just kind of hide away from it. But if we allow ourselves to be present for the pain of our bad decisions, chasing a bad dopamine hit, chasing an unearned source of dopamine, then we can start to build up a case in our mind as to why we are not going to make that decision the next time it arises, the opportunity arises. We're going to go left instead of going straight into it. My lower back is fucked right now. So, I want you to notice, what is that for you? What is that addiction that you're struggling with? Because, and I want, as homework, the next time that you succumb to your addiction, the next time you relapse, the next time you are hungover there, because you will, unless, you've completely mastered it, then fucking awesome. I want you to focus on that shitty moment where you're hating your life, where you hate your direct experience, where you're not motivated to do anything, and you just are irritable, where you don't want to do anything, you're not motivated to even do the positive habits of self-care, because your concoction of dopamine is not, it's all used up in the wrong places. Be present for that pain. And then next time you make that decision, or you have the opportunity to make that decision, look at the whole experience, the net of it. It's like, okay, if I do this, but then I'll also have to deal with the hangover after. I'll have to deal with the feeling like shit after, not being able to be motivated after, hating my direct experience after. It's very deceptive that way. A lot of us don't think about it in this way, but that's really, in my opinion, the best way to actually kick these addictions for good, is that you see it for what it is. You don't see it for what it is in the first hour or whatever, for while the activity is taking place. But you see it for what it is, for what it does for you afterwards as well. How it leaves you. Does it leave you enriched, or does it leave you drained? And if you just make a decision to only go with what makes you feeling enriched afterwards, then quitting your vices will become a whole lot easier. and making the right decision, doing the right thing, will become natural to you because you just see it for what it is. We need to redefine what it means to partake in the vices, because we think of it as, oh, it's just a good time. It's like, no. It's a good time plus a dip, plus a low, plus a time feeling burnt out, hungover, whatever it is. That's how you need to rewire your perception of reality to see things. See the whole consequence of it. So be present for that pain. This will take time to really become conscious of. But train your mindfulness skill. Be present for that pain. Train yourself to, before you indulge in something, to stop yourself. And even you can say to yourself, like, hold on, I'm not about to do this because I'm going to feel like shit after, or it's going to throw my motivation or how good I feel for the rest of the day. Yeah, fuck that. Because if I'm saying yes to that vice, then I'm also saying yes to suffering along, for the rest of the day or for the next 6 hours or whatever the fuck. Because I used up all the dopamine in my fucking brain. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. That's how I naturally quit a massive addiction of porn and masturbation for myself. I went on like a fucking 200 day NoFap shit. And I created a direct experience of what it's like to even be out of that. Because the thing is that if you're just constantly redosing your addiction, then you don't even have that direct experience to even realize what it's like to live on the other side. So then your mind doesn't even know that it's an option to live any other way. That's where I think NoFap can be very useful. But ultimately, what really kicked it for me was just becoming conscious that it's like, yeah, I don't want to do fucking anything after. And so for, I don't know, 3 years? For several years now, let's just say for years now, I naturally make the healthier choice where I'm not struggling with urges of just jerking off and fucking binging porn, because I see it for what it is. I see it as such a cheap source of stimulation, and I see it as a net negative. When I see it, it's like, yeah, that's gonna fuck up my circuits for the rest of the day. And see that with everything, I also I'm training my mind more and more now. I'm training my mind more and more now to see just checking my phone as that. Even if it's just a bunch of blank notifications, new search results from Kijiji, or someone liked your comment on YouTube, or just checking what people are saying on a forum. These are all context switches that are taking away from my life. And I'm starting to train my mind to see okay, hold on, pause. This is a crossroads. I can either partake in, checking 20 things on my phone to, see if I can get a dopamine hit, right? Because I'm just fishing for dopamine, literally dopamine fishing in a nutshell. Or I can deviate and I can make a decision to actually enjoy my day, not fuck up my dopamine circuits, and overall live a more fulfilled life by choosing to live today correctly. So what is that for you? What vice do you need to become more conscious of, where you see the whole net result? With every decision you make, try this on for a week at least. Or try on this lens indefinitely. With every decision you make, consider how that one decision is going to impact tomorrow, the next day, the next couple hours, for the next week, for the next month. Start thinking in that way and just watch how you will naturally correct yourself, because you do not want to put up with that bullshit that is self-created. You do not want to put up with the suffering that you create for yourself. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.